Alright guys, welcome back to our video again. In this video, we got a test ride the Forza 350. So this is a new Forza 350. It's pretty much identical to the 300 that I personally have a very close experience with. But now it's updated to the 350. Some say that this 350 is a generation 2 where there's a slight difference to it that we will be going through later on. So based on the physical appearance, the Forza 350 headlight is more similar to the Forza 750. You don't see that weird line here as compared to the 300. I think it's a little bit sharper, and then here looks a little bit more bumpier on the edge. It looks pretty much similar here. The tail light is a little bit sharper with the X design. And on the exhaust side, you will have that 350 badge and also some slight sharper kind of exhaust guard. I guess in terms of physical appearance, that's about all. And of course, the matte kind of trendy paint scheme. In terms of seat storage wise, it's still pretty much the same. You got a slot here with a toolbox, and then you can have a divider to separate your item. This is your battery component, a slot for your manual and document stuff. So fuel cap, I think there's not much of a difference. Okay, let's hop on. So sitting on it is quite easy. Okay, the bike is not tall, basically it's just that the seat is pretty wide, so you have to tiptoe a little bit. So when we talk about the Gen 2, it's basically this button here. So it comes with a mobile app that you can use this to control. Other than that, it's pretty much similar. So let's turn it on. So press, turn. Okay, so even the dash looks pretty much the same. On the left side, you get a lot of buttons. You can turn on and off the traction control with your index finger. You can see from here. And then your high beam, low beam, pass light. So it comes with an electronic windshield where you can adjust the windshield through this button here. You have your info A button which controls the first two lines of the screen here, and then you have another info B button with the third line of that screen, and then you have your horn signal light. Pretty easy. This is to control, I think, your phone, your smartphone, if you have connected to the Honda app. So here your kill switch, and your hazard light, and also a start button. So same thing, you only get a one side, left hand side kind of storage. And I believe once you have switched off the bike, this is, oh, it's not locked. Okay, let's try handlebar lock. Okay, so this is locked if you are using a handlebar lock. So nothing changed there as compared to 300. So just turn on, you get that two dials, and then start the bike. So from the get-go, it feels a little bit, I don't know, punchier. Let's try it out. So we will start off with a very light cruise around city. From what I feel with the initial ride off on the lower speed, you can feel that it's a little bit more torqueier. And the suspension setup tends to be a little bit firmer as compared to the old 300, Forza 300. As I remember, that bike was very comfortable to ride. Okay, and switch off your traction control midway. That's cool. We are doing city ride, that's why our windshield is down, so to get it more air. The seat is quite huge and comfortable, I would say. Okay, and this bump is really nice to support. So the common comparison between the Forza 300 or 350 is always about with the Yamaha X-Max, which we have test ridden it on a separate video there. Okay, it's really torquey. The Honda 300 used to be very smooth in terms of acceleration and deceleration. This time I felt that the Forza 350 is a little bit torqueier than my expectation. And that makes this bike more closer to the Yamaha X-Max 300, which is about being sporty and more responsive. I think that's a little change here. Personally, I would prefer the Forza over the X-Max because of the leg space or the leg room. Your legs tends to stretch out a little bit more on the Forza as compared to the X-Max. This makes cruising much more comfortable and more enjoyable. But then you lose some storage space. You only get one side of the glove box rather than two. That's the downside of this Forza.
I mean, that's another difference if you compare between a X-Max 300 and a Forza. So I just realized the dash have this fuel economy bar to show you how frugal you are in terms of riding, which wasn't found on the previous generation. The brakes are quite good, I mean, for its class, quite responsive and sharp. You get a very good initial feel, very strong pickup. I guess that is really the key difference or the highlight for this Forza 350. That's just my thought. Okay, so we try whether we can squeeze through. I guess it's no issue as long as the mirror passes through. So being a maxi scooter, no issue squeezing through traffic. Most of the single cylinder have this issue when you stop at a stationary position. Generally, you feel that strong vibration on the handlebar, and you can see the mirror is shaking. Okay, the engine braking part is smooth. It's still smooth. Okay, going slow, no issue. Riding with a single hand, no issue. It's pretty stable. So if you find lane splitting any issue, you can actually fold out the mirror, something like that. Okay, and then you can fold it back down. It's like a sports bike-ish kind of mirror. Okay, so I guess at the lower RPM it's pretty torquey, but once it's on I guess above 5, it tends to smooth out, more like a red line to red line kind of a feel. Sort of pull. I guess between the 5 to 6K range. Anything higher than that, it will be smoothened out. That's pretty good because it helps reduce the discomfort of the acceleration. But some rider doesn't like it because it makes it less sporty. But personally, if you are riding a maxi scooter, it's all about comfort. I think that's a plus point. Okay, we forget to do something here. We should reset the trip meter and then we will see how much fuel consumption it absorbs within that, I think, 40 minutes to an hour ride. My expectation is it holds around, I think, 30 kilometers per liter. We shall see how. I mean, it's a Honda, it's supposed to be very fuel efficient. Pretty good acceleration. That's loud. Okay, let us now try to do a U-turn. It shouldn't be too difficult because it's designed for urban use. So this is a very straightforward kind of U-turn. So yes, easy. And it's pretty light to move it around. So no issue with that. So let's try out how nimble the bike is and also its uphill capability. Okay. Not bad, the acceleration. The brakes are, you feel confident with the brakes too. It's struggling now. It's pretty light and it's pretty easy to, maneuver around. Okay, so now we're at the dead end. Let's see how easily we can do a U-turn within this 2 lane without putting our feet down. Okay, so same thing, the handlebar is in the way. You do a full lock, you see it hits your knee and your thigh. So you have to really open up wide in order to, do that maneuver of a very tight turn. Okay, there's one thing I want to try, which I didn't get to do it, is to try to fit the helmet into this storage space, because on the Forza 300, I remember we can only fit one full-face, non-adventure, non-big helmet here, XL size, and then M or L, depends on the shell on the rail. So now this time we want to try it with our helmet.
Okay, so same thing, the big doesn't go through, but without the big it can close. I guess this part will be the same as well, so you need one big, one medium helmet. Okay, you can't put 2XL.
So in terms of the storage space, it's definitely smaller than the X-Max, but it's still very large in terms of a scooter standard. That's another plus point or a key advantage of having a maxi scooter is storage. You don't really need a box per se. If you want to, it doesn't matter also. Then of course, with a box, it's more for the pillion comfort where you can set a backrest cushion and then they can lean over. You're wondering, oh, it's preload adjustable, so this one you can soften it a little bit if you want a more comfort ride. Because I remember the Forza 300 also have a preload adjuster, but the front fork is fixed, so you can't do anything about it. So what we gotta do next is to bring it on the expressway and see how it does in cruising speed and how comfortable it is. Okay, let us try to do a lean speed again and see how the Forza managed to squeeze through. So no issue at slow speed. The torque is still very manageable, like I said. Although it's torquey, but it's only at a selected rev range. I guess it depends on how you control the throttle. There's a map or whatnot that can capture your behavior. So now we are entering the freeway. We shall try first without the tall windshield and see where we get all the wind from. And then subsequently we'll move up the windshield while we're on the move. And we see how it goes. So right now we are at the freeway legal speed. It's almost around 5,800 RPM. Not too bad. So we move it up. So let's try again. The low. And the tall. The low. And the tall. So personally I felt that the wind blast area is more or less the same. But with the taller windshield, you actually get lesser wind blast into your helmet. You can clearly feel that the helmet is quieter with the tall windshield. You don't get direct impact from that wind blast into your chest, but you still feel the ventilation. It's not significantly lower, but it's definitely much more comfortable with that taller windshield up. So the other thing I realized that once you are into speed, okay, it doesn't need to be really fast, probably I guess anything above 20 kilometers and up, or once it starts to move, the vibration on the handlebar and the mirror actually get eliminated, so you can see them very clear. One thing that I dislike about this kind of sporty kind of mirror is that it's really hard to adjust while you're on the go. Those on the handlebar, you can just reach out your hand to do it. This one you still do, but you need to stretch a little bit further in order to get it done. So it's actually less convenient to adjust it on the go. There's still around 2,000 RPM to go. So I guess if you are a solo rider, weight like an average Asian male, or even slightly higher above them, so I guess pushing this bike to around 160 is definitely no issue. It's just a matter of time, how fast you can reach there. Okay, so the info A shows you the trip 1, trip 2, and the time use. Okay, and then info B shows you the total and the range of the petrol consumption. So you get your fuel, your coolant, your timing, air temperature, and the voltage. This is, just now we mentioned, it's the fuel economical bar to show you how naughty your throttle hand is. I guess it gets this peak torque at 3 to 5,000 somewhere there, because it's really torquey at that range. So anything above and below is pretty smooth as usual. Okay, and this electronic windshield thing is very premium, because you do get a lot of model that has adjustable windshield, but all are pretty manual. You either need to remove the screw or use your hand to adjust it. But this is electronic. It's like the Gold Wing. And even the big brother, the Forza 750, doesn't have this function. So you have no issue keeping up an expressway speed. And for sure, you have sufficient power to do, your overtake without compromising your safety or whatnot. Of course, it's not the most powerful bike. I would say I will only be comfortable doing it slightly above straight digit kind of situation. Anything higher than that, you might not feel very confident in completing that job. Okay, let us exit out of the expressway and then in more urban kind of situation. Okay, after around 30 minutes of sitting into the Forza 350, I think I found a flat spot just in between the butt. It's not uncomfortable per se, but it's just that the seat is not firm or cushiony enough for you to sit on here for 2 hours straight. So I guess in an urban ride where you ride point A to point B within 30 minutes should be fine. If you are using this for long distance ride, okay, I guess you might need to find some way to make that seat more comfortable. Just now I mentioned that the Generation 2 comes with this stick jointing, which I think is a little bit funny because it's a little bit out of reach from my palm. In order to control it, I have to really look down and see what I'm pressing. So probably you get used to it after you get familiar with the bike. If I'm trying to use this to control my smartphone, with a smartphone mount on my bike, so myself I can do a direct input with my hands. So I guess that part is a little bit contradicting. But it's always good to have something better than nothing. And that is one of the technological advancement for all motorcycles. It will be able to communicate with other technology devices. I mean, that's the trend and that's the way to go. So in conclusion, I would say that the Forza 350 is still my preferred maxi scooter. If you want me to really compare with an X-Max 300, that was a fun bike and it has a lot of aftermarket accessories to accessorize it on. Why I prefer the Forza 350 because of this electronic windshield where you can adjust, number one. Second is the leg room. It has really more leg room where you can stretch out your leg while you're cruising. And it also has that smoother throttle response which makes the whole riding experience more comfortable. Less jerky in the sense. I don't know what the science behind it. When you ride the Forza in a cruising speed, basically you don't feel any vibration. So right now the fuel consumption is about 35.2 kilometers per liter. Wow, very decent. It's really, really impressive, very, very decent. So I guess we are doing like 50% urban and 50% highway. So you get about 35 there. So I guess it should not differ away too much if you are doing pure cities. So I guess you get at least a decent 30-ish kind of fuel consumption. Alright guys, thank you for watching this video on the Forza 350. See you on the next video. Bye bye.